Halcyon Parcel Service is proud to be the colony's only parcel delivery service. How may I be of assistance? I must respectfully ask that you calm down, please. Parcels must be picked up at window A. Maintaining proper window structure is imperative to the smooth operation of HPS. If you would like to lodge a complaint about the quality of your service, please request a complaint form at window C. If you would like to request a complaint form at window C, please make an appointment. I see you're familiar with our company policy.
How may I be of assistance? Of course. If you could just verify for me that you are Jolicoeur, Celeste, or an officially authorized proxy? Everything seems to be in order. Here you are, one parcel. I hope this has been a pleasant and satisfying transaction. Halcyon Parcel Service thanks you for your patronage.
Rizzo's Purple Berry Crunch, Triple Flakes, and
I think we can
Purple
both
Berry
agree
Flakes.
that
Hey, sorry about your folks, Ellie.
I'm just sorry I forgot to search the liquor cabinet before we left.
I know that's a joke, but be careful. I lost him. After I buried him, I raided his Rizzo stash for a bit of comfort. And I ain't stopped drinking since.
Hey, who says that's a bad thing?
Your best find this week.
Remember that stranger I saw?
Hey, careful. Don't go running around in the middle of a crime scene. You mean Miss Jolicoeur? She was reported for practicing a subversive aesthetic. We found her in her office, working on something perverse. She didn't cooperate, so we had to put her down. Never took her for a dissident sympathizer. Byzantium security regrets any disruption to regular flow of commerce. However, cultural and moral hygiene must always be maintained. Byzantium cultural standards are enforced by Universal Defense Logistics. Universal Defense Logistics, your first and last line of defense in the war against sedition.
What do you suppose all that ruckus in Celeste?
It would be unseemly to speculate.
Creative temperament and all that. I've always loved.
What's gone into block market?
Oh, for the good old days when you...
Don't you think we ought
Rizzo
My
Special Vodka.
no
Aftertaste the
idea
rainbow.
how our production is. Such lies, roads.
Spacer's Choice Pirate Sauce.
That episode from a few weeks ago?
Great on fish sticks. Axio's facial method.
Kid, you got presence. Natural magnetism, know what I mean? Tell you what, you're gonna like it a whole lot more once we start talking bits. Listen, you got an agent? Some kind of representation? Fresh, natural talent. I know it when I see it. Listen, you got a real special quality, raw energy. I see you in pictures, kid. I'm making a feature, Space Pirates of Moros Prime. It's gonna be a hit. But we still need a star, and I think you got the chops.
Not so fast. First, we gotta talk about royalties.
Let's just see where this audition goes, huh? So what do you say? You ready for the chance of a lifetime? Terrific! We're holding auditions at the studio. Head to Odeon Pictures and take the elevator. You're going all the way to the top, baby.
Welcome to Ambrose Manor. We were not expecting company. Please follow. Do not stray from the path.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Been there, little guy.
I've never seen a more effective argument against blindly following a preordained plan.
Running diagnostic. Error. Diagnosing diagnostic. Weary, are you?
Keep your guard up. Could be all manner of surprises in there.
People will go to extraordinary lengths to define themselves, won't they? This is just a facade to hide behind.
take it back. Ain't nothing here but memories.
This place has the distinct feeling of a crypt.
Think they've ever tried to use this while the fireplace was on?
Secret tunnel. Interesting architectural choice.
Dear Wilhelmina, I hope this letter finds you well. No, it's too stilted. It sounds like I'm writing to request a loan. Dearest Wilhelmina, I regret to tell you... Law, no, that's worse. When have I ever called her dearest? She's my daughter. This should be easy. How can a mother not know how to talk to her own daughter? My love, I can no longer... For your safety, I must... Oh, hell. Even if she despises me for what I had to do, I should still be able to say goodbye. Minnie, I have to leave, and I don't intend to come back. I love you. I'm so sorry.
So who the devil are you? You don't say. Well, make yourself at home, Captain. I'm sure we have much to discuss. Do you see that glowing chunk of space rock? That's Gorgon. My birthright, my burden, and the bane of my existence. I hate to drink alone, and this is my third. So join me in raising a glass. To Gorgon. To Gorgon. May cosmic winds shepherd her to the nearest star. I'm Wilhelmina Ambrose, but you can keep it short and call me Minnie. Now, what brings you to my house, handsome? I take it you didn't come all this way for the beverages, the starry skies, or the pleasant company. A severed arm. How positively ghoulish. You know this is a private residence, not a curio shop? Really? Huh. Now this severed limb, did it have dark hair? Rugged knuckles? Chewed fingernails? A gunslinger's calluses? The next time someone mails you a severed limb, you really ought to pay better attention. I can only think of one man daring enough to jettison his extremities on my behalf. Lucky Montoya is my personal freelancer. Fascinating man, very brooding and theatrical. Always staring into space and twirling a bullet over his knuckles.
The more lost we feel, the more we put on a show for others.
But if something happened to him... Oh dear. I suppose that makes him my former freelancer now? You suspect foul play? Interesting. If we're being honest, I haven't given it much thought. What a time for his luck to run out. We were in the middle of something grand, and I really can't afford another setback. That's called a defense mechanism. I don't get attached to others if I can avoid it. Try it sometime. How would you like to be my new freelancer? There's been a recent vacancy, and I think you're well suited to the job.
You're awful quick to trust a bunch of strangers that broke into your home.
I don't believe you thought this through. Or much else, for that matter.
I'm looking for someone rough around the edges. A gorgeous, dashing scoundrel type. Incidentally, someone good with their hands. My mother, Dr. Olivia Ambrose, worked for Spacer's Choice at the Gorgon Research Facility. She was brilliant, the top scientist in her field, until tragedy struck. One day, Spacer's Choice shut down all research and evacuated Gorgon. Everyone had to scramble or risk getting left behind. It was chaos. Employees fled for their lives. Mother never made it home. I'm told she wasn't the only casualty that fateful day. Mother's name has since been dragged through the mud. Spacer's Choice blames her for the collapse of Project Gorgon, and I just know they're lying. My thoughts exactly. Mother would not have allowed Project Gorgon to fail. Something happened on that asteroid, and my family took the fall for it. The truth. Mother is gone, Gorgon is silent, and I deserve answers. I don't know. And Spacer's Choice won't say. They don't discuss anything that tarnishes their brand. Gorgon has a dark history. The project fell apart. Personnel were shuffled across the system. With Mother gone, now I'm all that's left. Father lost more than his job on Gorgon. I'll say no more than that. The asteroid may look like a glittering jewel, but I assure you the resemblance ends there. Gorgon is poisonous to the core. One might even say cursed. We start where all of this began. With Mother. Whatever happened on Gorgon wasn't Mother's fault. I simply need the evidence to prove it. We're going to drag the truth kicking and screaming into the light. Even if it means bringing ruin and humiliation to Spacer's Choice. All the evidence I need should be in Mother's journal. You can find it in her office on Gorgon, in the heart of the old research facility. I'm not surprised. Between the family drama and the corporate conspiracy, it must feel like you've stepped on a landmine. Speak freely, Captain. You know as much as I do, I'm afraid. Spacer's Choice abandoned Gorgon, but the asteroid is far from unoccupied. Between the marauders, the wildlife, and whatever escaped the labs, danger abounds. Your guess is as good as mine. I know that Spacer's Choice bred canids, especially for Gorgon. They were supposed to act as living cattle prods. By now, they've probably gone feral. Just watch yourself. If you aren't careful, you stand to lose more than an arm. I didn't want to go anywhere near Gorgon. Once I exhausted all my options, the search led me back here. I even had Mother declared legally dead. Would you believe it took 5 years to process the paperwork? Allow me to explain. Mother's body is still on Gorgon. No body means no death certificate, which means no inheritance. I killed Mother, just on paper, of course, so I could claim my inheritance. We wouldn't be standing here if I didn't have access to the family fortune. I once assumed the mansion and the money would be enough to redeem the Ambrose name. But even in Byzantium, prestige must be earned, and it can so easily be lost. Break back into high society, yes. I'm trying to do several things at once. None of them easy. The smear campaign against Mother was the work of cowards. I'm vindicating the family name for her, for the colony, and for my future. My future as the head of the Ambrose family business, where I can wield my fortune like a cudgel. This colony is in trouble. The lunatics at Spacer's Choice are running the asylum, and we need better people to wield their influence. After Gorgon, I quickly discovered that the Ambrose name was cursed, for lack of a better term. I had no place among the decision makers. No seat at the table. That is why I'm clearing the record and vindicating the Ambrose line. For Mother, for me, and for the generations who will one day inherit Halcyon. I know it will. I suspect it will prove that corporate greed and incompetence were to blame for the calamity at Gorgon, and not Mother. Mother was a brilliant woman. Difficult, cold, unreachable even, but brilliant. Spacer's Choice evacuated in a hurry, leaving a fortune's worth of equipment in their wake. Mother's journal would have escaped their notice. This is my last hope of redeeming the Ambrose name. I don't like my chances, but I have to try. And I need help. Your help. I believe that covers it all. Are you ready to get started? We mustn't allow the trail to get cold. I admire your enthusiasm. This manor has echoed with my own we, and I can feel you breathing new life into the walls. When you reach Gorgon, pack a weapon you trust. The corporate lockdown hasn't stopped the wilderness from squirming in through the cracks. I told him everything I've told you. Just the facts. Maybe a couple of harmless embellishments. Why? There's a little saloon near Gorgon's landing pad, the Sprat Shack. Lucky was renting a room, so if you want to follow his trail, that would be the place to start.
Ought to stop in and taste the local flavor.
Just so we understand each other, money is no object. I'm willing to squander the family fortune if you get me what I want. Between your payment and any salvage you happen across, you'll walk away from this rich enough to buy a mansion of your own. How does that sound? A consummate professional. That shouldn't be a problem. Here's your nav key, Captain. Safe travels. A word of advice before you go, Captain. Trust no one. Mother's office is in the heart of the Gorgon facility. You're free to salvage anything that isn't nailed down. I only want what's mine.
Salvage rights and a paycheck? This is almost too good to be true.
Don't worry about us. We're well versed in helping ourselves to anything that's not nailed down.
In orbit above Gorgon.
Well, here we... Hey, is that a saloon? I feel better already.
The Gorgon facility.
This place is starting to remind me of home.
Look at those stars. Don't it make you feel small? In the best way.
Nicely done.
This unit is currently in wait cycle. Please return later. Have a better than natural day.
Great work. the rocks. Ugh, now it really feels like home.
Are all these marauders former townsfolk?
What's that noise?
We made it! A lot of the equipment here is still in good shape. Wouldn't go amiss in Edgewater.
I see Monarch ain't the only pet project the board's willing to abandon.
I got supplies if you need them. No one lasts long on Gorgon unprepared. Is that what my thoughts sound like? Law, I've been standing near that alarm too long. You looking for supplies, stranger? Let's stock up here. If you run low on bullets out in Gorgon's far reaches, there ain't no one round here liable to help you out. Let me know if you're looking for something particular. Huh? Oh, you don't gotta worry about that. Something to do with that scrap project Gorgon from years back. Thanks for turning it off, by the way. I'd have lost my mind if the damn thing had gone on much longer. We tried. Couldn't persuade the control terminal to listen. No one round here is particularly mechanically inclined, and no one was gonna shut it down by force. That's for sure. I know, because even Von Hoffman couldn't bash it in. And I seen that tough son of a gun throw a man clean across the Sprat Shack one time like he were a toss ball. You mean you came out to this asteroid without knowing nothing about it? Me too. Heard it was wild here and couldn't resist. Trouble is, if you wander off to somewhere you oughtn't be, like way out in Gorgon's farthest reaches, odds are slimmer of your bits finding their way to my pockets. If you want my advice, stick close to the Sprat Shack, unless you fancy having your limbs torn off and eaten. All right, you know you better than I do. Just be sure you watch out for the Marauders. That's the #1 thing. Oh, and the Mance. You watch out for Marauders, Mance, and Charles from accounting, and you'll probably be fine. Only the meanest Marauder on Gorgon, and also anywhere else. That man is crazier than a bag of canids and twice as likely to bite. He will bust your head open like an overripe mock apple if he so much as sees you. I ain't joking. He'll snap you in half like stale bread noodles. No, you don't get it. Charles from accounting is like... Imagine if you took 3 of the most howling mad marauders you could find and mashed them together. That's Charles. That ain't right. Well, I warned you. If you run off and get exploded to death by a madman with a rocket launcher now, that's on you. Sure, okay. He's got a rocket launcher. Couldn't say. He kills anyone who gets close enough to ask. Look, long story short, you do not fuck with Chuck. Best to avoid the Marauder camp entirely. That's my 2 bits on the matter. Yeah? The Marauder camp way out to the east. That's what I heard, at least. And I sure hope you're asking so you can keep a safe distance away. Only that Spacer's Choice shut it down in a big hurry. From what I heard, some of their folks got left behind even. Don't seem like the project ended well. Found a pickaxe in the mine like none I've ever seen before. Could be awful useful if you're the violent type.
Come here. Let's have a chat. All right, inspection time. Look at my eyes for as long as you can without blinking. Starting now. Want to run that by me again? I want to be taken seriously, but I'll settle for a little less attitude in the future. That was a sanity check. If you had changed like the others, it'd be in your eyes. You'd also be drooling, cursing, and making a mess of the place. Welcome to the Sprat Shack. You can head on downstairs. Every day, salvagers and scrappers set out to comb the ruins and make their fortune. The ones who come back, they aren't always the same men or women who left. They change. Never for the better. First, they get real twitchy and paranoid, shouting at folks who aren't there. Then they smell like they soiled themselves, on account of how they soiled themselves. After that, they're gone. Nothing but animals wearing human skin. Seen it happen myself. It's never pretty. This is the Sprat Shack, the most remote watering hole in the system. Rule number 1, no fighting. Rule number 2, wipe your feet on the way downstairs. We're the only hospitable place on this rock. I want to keep it that way. That's why we have rule number 3. When people change, they stay outside, where they belong. Just don't ask me to dance. This is a sublight bar, so most of our regulars come to plunder the old labs. The facility's locked up behind miles of red tape, so progress is slow. A lot of time to drink and reevaluate, then venture out and try again. Something bad happened here. Spacer's Choice was developing chemicals. The kind with nasty side effects. Marauders outnumber the rest of us 10 to 1. Either they came from Gorgon, or something draws them here. I don't know which is worse. This place is under a dark cloud, stranger. That's all I know. If you want the history of the Sprat Shack, talk to Lex behind the bar. Bouncer, bodyguard, law enforcer. I make sure the Sprat Shack gets only the highest caliber of clientele.
That's us. Well, I hope you look the other way just this once.
We get a lot of brand-loyal corporate types, and a lot of cutthroat freelancer types. Both sides have their share of dirty scoundrels. And I hate dirt. Stay cool.
Oh, ugh. This place smells like Felix's birth.
Been an age since I had a good trip of kale. Hope they've got it on tap.